I'm really honored to introduce all of you to Magenta Pixie. Please give us
Oh goodness, thank you so much, Debbie. That was really nice. Well, hello everyone. What a wonderful conference this has been, and yet again, just like last year, such fantastic energy when we come together like this, and the activations that we create as a group and in one another, and we allow that to reach out to everyone else at home watching, either live or in videos, maybe in a year's time, 10 years' time, that energy remains. So I channel the white-winged collective consciousness of 9, and who they are and what they are is made evident in my presentation. I would just like to say, please excuse my voice. My voice is not 100% today, so please bear with me. So what I usually do is I speak to the 9 and I go into an altered state of consciousness, what you may know as a light trance, and bring them forward, and I write what they are saying to me. And this is how I communicate with them most of the time. I ask them questions, and then they bring forward the responses to those questions. So for this presentation, I have asked them 5 questions, and I have asked them further questions, another 9 questions, to clarify some of the information they brought forward. I hope we'll be able to get to that as well, but I will go through the main information first, and if we have time at the end, I'll look at the extra information. I have entitled this presentation, The Cellular Memory Cascade, Light Encoded Process, Activation of the Christed Self Within. Now, the cellular memory cascade is a process that the 9 have been talking to me about for probably around a year, maybe a little longer. It is really DNA activation. But what is DNA activation? That phrase is presented so often, and it's an accurate phrase. But what exactly does it mean? Can we go deeper into this? What does it look like? What does it feel like? And the 9 told me that this process we are all going through, this particular aspect of DNA activation, they call the cellular memory cascade. So I asked them, what is the cellular memory cascade? As a process, what is it? And they replied, cellular memory cascade is as the inner domino effect through DNA gathering itself into the torus in order to hold experiential memory through the physical death of the human vehicle. So inner domino effect is suggesting as a domino falls, many other dominoes then fall. This is taking place within our DNA. It's difficult to conceptualize when we look at a domino, but you can certainly look at that cascade. So one aspect of the DNA falls into a configuration, a geometry, and then the others follow through, in order to hold experiential memory through the physical death of the human vehicle. So when an individual passes from the physical body, they hold experiential memory. That lives on, that is retained when the physical body is no more. Well, I would like to go into the next question I asked about that, because they do clarify somewhat further. So I'm going to put that one through as an important extra piece. So I'll just find that. It's about experiential memory. I just wanted to clarify, what is that? And they said, memories that have been experienced by the individual soul in incarnation. If the inner domino effect takes place in balance, then the experiential memory is held within the DNA structure through multiple lifetimes. So this torus, this DNA in this configuration, forms itself or gathers itself into this torus and holds experiential memory, memories that you have experienced not just through your current incarnation, but through multiple incarnations. And if you look at the fact that we are all one, then does that mean that that torus potentially holds memories of every individual that has incarnated as its experiential memory? So they go on to say, they talk about why this is happening, what this occurs for. And they said this allows the DNA structure to exist on its own as a consciousness and move itself into a new viable physical vehicle, reincarnation, if it so chooses to do so. So this suggests that the DNA holds consciousness. It is consciousness. It is life. And it may choose to move itself into a new viable physical vehicle and continue on in that vehicle, reincarnation. And the Nine are suggesting here that that's a choice. They went on to say, yet cellular memory cascade occurs also within an ascension process. This would be the inner domino effect taking place whilst the physical human body is still in incarnation. So what they're saying is, usually this torus field is created at the moment that an individual leaves their physical body. That holds consciousness and is retained. All the experiential memory is retained and then passes forward into a new chosen human vehicle. But with ascension, that takes place without the human body having to go through the death process. That torus field is created within the body during an ascension process, and this is what we are all going through. So it's rare. It happens at the end times, if you will, or planetary completion. They went on to say the DNA comes online as full morphogenetic soul memory into an omnipotent placement as a quantum torus. So this is suggesting that memories of all and everything is within this torus. Everything that's ever happened, everything that is happening now, and everything that will ever happen is held within that torus, waiting for the individual to pass from the physical body. But in ascension, this process is occurring while you are in your body, in your incarnation, alive, going around your business, living your reality. You are creating this very beautiful, sacred configuration within your DNA to hold experiential memory. And they said this occurs, if you will, within the deemed last life, as in final incarnational experience within third dimensional reality. So everyone going through an ascension experience is, if you will, at the end of a series of incarnations within their last life, within the third dimension, should they so choose that to be the case. So the next question I asked them was, can you talk more about the inner domino effect? What is this? And they said, this is the cascade process of which we speak, the first activated section of DNA sugar chains. They went on to say, our conduit does not have the biological terminology within her field to explain this process. Well, they're right, because I don't. But no, they are molecular polysaccharides, or saccharides, combined with a ribosome activator and an electrical force that is solar and conductive, that uses what you would know as essential fats to continue the conduction. So no, I must say that sometimes information comes forward that I personally don't understand on a human level. And I know a lot of people say channeling shouldn't be difficult to understand, it shouldn't be confusing, and that's true. But if information is coming forward that you are not aware of, that you don't have the knowledge about, then it takes a while to work out what that means. So the first activated section of DNA sugar chains falls or cascades into place, followed by multiple other DNA sugar chains. We, the white-winged collective consciousness of 9, or any guidance system you may know or communicate with, lie within this cascade process. So they said an awful lot there. The 9 are, or they lie within, this cascade process of DNA sugar chains, these polysaccharides. That's where they lie. But not only the 9, they said any guidance system you may know or communicate with. So anyone who is channeling or communicating with beings that are non-physical, this is where they lie on a biological level, within this sugar cane. Sugar, not cane. See, I really don't understand about biology. I do think to myself, sugar, well that's what's in sweet food. It comes from the sugar cane, extract molasses and cakes, and that's not the sugar that they're talking about. So, DNA sugar chains, but chain and cane, they rhyme, so sorry. Oh dear. Falls or cascades into place, followed by multiple other DNA sugar chains, so there's many of them falling into place. We unfold as your memory comes online. So we, the white-winged collective consciousness of 9, or any guidance system, unfold as your memory comes online, and your DNA moves to the quantum torus configuration. So you have this cascade, these sugar chains, not sugar cane, turning into this torus. And the 9, or your guidance system, unfold as your memory comes online. So this memory that is saved for when you have left the human body, in between your incarnations, as a consciousness in and of itself, is unfolding in your body during an ascension process while you are alive in the body. It's quite profound, and I think we've all known this. We all know that we're taking our body with us, and that in ascension we do the things that we would normally do if we had left our body. But this is more of an intense or in-depth explanation from the 9 about this process, because it's really ramping up now. It's really happening now. Everyone in this room, everyone who has attended this conference, everyone at home, they're going through this process right now. They said, it is as a dance taking place within your cellular body. This becomes fluorescent and emanates photonic light, so it's thus the formation of your light body. So this torus is dancing within your cellular body. It becomes fluorescent, and they are saying to me that this is an actual biological cellular process. It emanates this photonic light, which is light that is not like the light we know, not like electricity. It's closer to the sun, but it isn't even like the sun. It is beyond that. So the next question, when will this cellular memory process begin? When will this cellular memory cascade process begin? And they said, it is occurring now upon your planet. And that was the reply to that one. Okay, how can an individual recognize the process? What will it look like? And the 9 replied, at the physical DNA structure level, this is an inpouring of photonic light. Using an allegory, imagine, if you will, a waterfall. So imagine a waterfall. The waterfall cascades downwards into the rivers below, allowing flow to occur through the natural landscape in order and alignment, presenting indeed breathtaking beauty. It is the same process within the DNA as the memories cascade into the individual and indeed within the group. However, it is a unique process. The individual will recognize the process when inner knowing occurs of that which has not been learned, taught, or known of throughout the life of that individual up to that point. Well, my journey here and this talk is a case in point. I am bringing forward this information from the nine, and they are this torus, this sugar chain cascade within the torus, and they are bringing forward information that I have not had any learning or knowledge about, such as sugar chains, DNA sugar chains, polysaccharides and molecular electrical forces and conduction and ribosomes. I don't have a clue. I don't have that knowledge. I'm not a cellular biologist. So this is what is happening. You will know this is happening when you start to bring forward or just know information that you haven't learned in that lifetime, in your lifetime. So you can say to yourself, how do I know this? And then you find out perhaps from someone that that knowing or that dream or that feeling is actually true. How did you know that? And this is how, because you're going through the cellular memory cascade. The individual will recognize this process as memories returning. So it will feel like memories are coming back to you. These memories may be of other lifetimes, existences, experiences, civilizations, most especially of the twin dragon worlds, you know as Lemuria and Atlantis, and indeed beyond to the Hyperborean beginnings of consciousness as simply a memory complex system without body or perception of body. I have asked them more about this, which I'll get to afterwards, because I want to make sure I go through the whole talk first, but I have asked them about the twin dragon worlds and about the memory complex system not having a body or a perception of body, but that was the beginnings of who we were in the epoch that we know as Hyperborea. Memories of water dwelling, the mermaid, or of majestic flight through time-space as the dragon and its dragon rider. Memories of the living geometries of creation itself, and memories of existing as the one creator, creatrix of all things. So we have these memories, and it feels like it's something that's happened in the past. Remember being the oneness without a body, the creator, the creatrix, actually taking place within that creation. Memories of being all and everything, memories of wanting to experience all and everything and sending out a pulse to create a creational situation so that we are able to know all and everything. They're memories. It feels like the memories have happened in the past, but this is a cellular memory cascade that's taking place within the moment. So they're not really memories. Our brain perceives them as having happened in the past, but this knowing is in real time and is all happening simultaneously. Knowings and memories of the holy spiral, which is the spine of the galactic structure itself, as a source-aligned central point to creation. They've never mentioned the galactic spine to me before, and I found it interesting that the lady that was speaking before me, Maria, was talking about spine within some of the sacred sites and sacred stones. So I thought that was interesting. The spine of the galactic structure itself, I do ask them further about this. You know, what is a galactic spine? These memories are knowings. Indeed, they are not memory in the sense of recall of what has passed before. So they feel like memories to us, but they are knowings. They are just simply knowings. We just know. We don't know how we know, but that's because of this torus, this cellular memory cascade process taking place in balance, and that's so important, in balance, because it can take place not in balance, and that's a whole other story. I do touch on that when I ask some questions later. The memories involve the future and what will yet be. For the knowing is that of the past, present, and the future from your perspective. For the true knowing is one simultaneous stream of creation. The individual becomes, if you will, the grand wizard, as he or she thus knows all, or is indeed able to access all when he or she so chooses. Now, I asked them more about that, and I would like to tell you what they said there, because I may not get to all of the analysis, and I liked this question. I asked them, how can an individual access all? And they said, through the memory system we speak of and the cellular memory cascade process in balance. So we're accessing all through that because it is all. That's why we have these knowings. This can be achieved through balanced and cohesive visualization. So I mention this because they talk about this later. Balanced and cohesive visualization, and indeed through meditation and dream work. So I wanted to bring that in. Their name or frequency signature. So they're talking here about the individual who becomes, if you will, the grand wizard. When they get to the place where they know all, or are indeed able to access all, their name or frequency signature is etched upon the carvings of the Great Book. And the keys to the solar libraries are thus given to them. I would like to read to you more about that as well, because I did ask them about this great book and the solar libraries, so I'd like to just tell you what they said. What is the Great Book? What are the solar libraries? The Great Book is that which we may call galactic DNA. And the solar libraries are the vast quantum networks found within your DNA and the DNA of the planet. All can be accessed through the balanced and cohesive cellular memory cascade process of which we speak. So the Great Book is galactic DNA. And when you move into this process of true knowing, knowing all, or you are able to access all, your name, or rather your signature, is etched upon galactic DNA. So this memory that you hold within this torus within you is then held within galactic DNA, within the Great Book, the morphogenetic field, if you will. The memory of you is etched there, meaning it never goes, because there are some souls who will come to the end of a grand cycle, which is where we are now, who do not achieve this. They do not hold those memories in that way. Those going through Ascension do, meaning you become immortal, and that becomes an infinite immortality of you, and all that is you is remembered always within galactic DNA and accessible in an immortal, infinite sense. And the solar libraries, that's, I'll go back to that just to mention what the solar libraries are. The solar libraries are the vast quantum networks found within your DNA and the DNA of the planet. So your name, your signature becomes etched upon quantum networks in your DNA and the DNA of the planet. So within the DNA of the Earth. So your energy signature becomes stored not only within the galactic aspect, but also within the Earth, within the planet. And I refer back to Maria, who spoke earlier, who was talking about the sacred stones and likening that to accessing knowledge and memory. It's a similar information. They went on to say, metaphor has been spoken and presented to preserve the great mysteries and secrets of reality itself. So they're speaking here in metaphor to preserve great mysteries and to preserve secrets of reality, so that those holding the double helix structure do not become confused. So those holding the double helix structure are those who have not activated this torus field. They have not activated the quantum DNA. They are those that you might say are third dimensional or living within a linear reality or in 3D, or maybe names for the individuals that haven't woken up yet, if you like. And everyone is going through a process of awakening, but some, the awakening is in such a small way that they still have this double helix structure. It hasn't moved into a higher configuration. So they speak in metaphor to preserve the great mysteries and secrets of reality itself, so that those holding the double helix structure do not become confused by attempting to translate the higher divine wisdom and dragon mysteries into a physical consciousness construct. So if you were to speak in a way that is not so metaphoric, and even within the metaphor, individuals who don't have that quantum torus, that galactic DNA, will try to analyse that and come up with an answer within the best way that they know, which is a third-dimensional, linear way of thinking. And they go on to say it is not possible to make sense of the quantum streams within a double helix structure. These quantum streams are frequency and energy, and they are a language, and we must have the torus within the cellular memory cascade in order to translate this language. It can't be done within the double helix. It can't be done within an individual who is holding third-dimensional consciousness. One must hold the quantum torus structure as the living spiral, which is the holy spiral and the domain of the Christ itself within. I did ask a further question about that, so yes, I said, should we not attempt then to decode these metaphors? Should we allow the metaphors to just activate each individual as a code or a catalyst? Should I not be asking you to clarify these messages of your metaphors? Because I do this all the time. I'll say, what do you mean by that metaphor? Can you clarify? Should I not be doing that then? Because the metaphor is preserving these great mysteries. And they said, indeed, the metaphors are codes and catalysts to be utilised directly by the individual receiving the transmission. So that's anyone listening to this now, me and all of you. The responses to your questions are simply extra clues or expansion into a wider catalyst system, if you will. And we do not nullify, therefore, the catalyst. So it's okay for me to ask further questions about their metaphors, about their material, because they expand by giving extra clues, that they do not nullify the catalyst and codes that's in their words, that's in their metaphor. Your world, at your current now time, contains a mixed collective, which is a cascading pattern within the social memory complex structure. The social memory complex is the collective mind, consciousness, and thoughts of every individual on the planet. The social memory complex structure is the consciousness of this planet, the consciousness of Gaia, Earth, Terra, whatever name you want to give to this planetary structure. So right now, in this current now time, a mixed collective is being presented within that social memory complex. It's not all the same. It's a cascading pattern that is mixed. So you've got this cascade of mixed vibrations within the whole of the consciousness of the planet. This is as it is at planetary end times. And this is the time to heal that which you may know as the veil, the great forgetting, collective amnesia, or shall we so call this the dream spell? So this is the forgetting of all that has ever happened, all that is happening now, and all that ever shall happen, the great forgetting, and there's a reason why we go through that forgetting, but now is the time to heal this. The double helix carrying individuals at one end of the spectrum, so these are those who are still thinking in linear time, third dimensionally, and those embracing the non-linear movement into the quantum 144,000 diamond crystalline lattice structure, which is the holy spiral quantum torus infinite helix at the other end of the spectrum. Now, those within the latter category, the activated ones, moving through cellular memory cascade within balanced flow, are called to teach those who still remain within the reduced DNA configurations. For the teachings themselves do hold codes that shall catalyze the cellular memory cascade within others. I did ask them more about this. When they say you are called to teach, that doesn't mean it's something you've got to do. I have spoken to people who've become very stressed by this and seen it as a terrible responsibility. Oh, I've got to teach others. It's my mission. But I don't really want to because I'm busy with my mother or my children, or I've got a job and I don't want to teach. That isn't what it means. Teach means to share that which you are and that which you know within a flow and within love whenever it feels right for you to do so. If you don't feel like talking to anyone or teaching anyone anything, you absolutely don't have to. It may be that you are teaching your mother, your child, your neighbour, a man you just met at the shop, or it may be that you are in silent meditation and you're a bit of a hermit and you don't see anyone and you are teaching through your energy field. That's what it means you are called to do. It doesn't have to be physical, it can be done in silence and in meditation. So there's no big responsibility. You are not failing if you're not sat up here on the stage like me and speaking and teaching. That's not the path for everybody. You have your own individual path. So I'm just going to clarify that because that's a big one with people who feel they're failing in their mission. And as long as you are in love and light and you are sharing and you are compassionate, you are not failing in your mission. This is the inner domino effect, which is mirrored within others, for the light-encoded photonic light as crystalline structure is caught by the receptive other. They have actually been talking to me about this for many years. The light is catching, they will say. As sound reverberates, so too does photonic light. For sound and light are but two sides of the same crystalline coin, as it were. I think that I made a joke there. I don't do that very often. The same crystalline coin, as it were. So I asked further about this, and I'd just like to share that. I said to them, can you provide an example of what you mean by photonic light as a crystalline structure being passed to the receptive other? You're using sound as an example, but sound can be heard by the human. We can hear it. So how can light be passed? And they replied, it is not the hearing that allows the passing of light encodement from one individual to another. It is frequency. An example of a light-encoded frequency that is light, that which you would not know as something you hear, although it is sound in a different form, would be the visual. As we have said before, the flame letter is such a light-encoded frequency, such as the dragon or Excalibur. This can be projected to another through art or moving image, yet also through words, through the story, the song, the poetry. If I speak to you of a tree, a golden tree with brightly shining jewels for leaves, surrounded by sunlight, and you, as the individual, visualize such a tree, then you have thus initiated a cellular memory cascade through DNA activation, yet this has been catalyzed by the one who presents the words for the visual to thus be created by the receiver. In this case, of the crystalline world tree of life, the progenitor or seeder of the visual, and thus the light encodement as catalyst, is us. We, the white-winged collective consciousness of 9, through our conduit, Magenta Pixie. Okay, so that's the end of the reply there. The templates for cellular memory cascade catalyzation are all around you, within your environmental reality experience, within the natural world, within your history books and biblical texts, within prose, poetry, song, creative movement and art. For you and your environment are one. And they say this repeatedly. The awakened and activated ones influence the environment, and so too does the environment influence the guardians upon it. This is reciprocal, and it is a simultaneous movement. The reality experience and the environment itself are both living structures, underpinned by the dragon line, serpent line foundations of creational spiralized magic, which is the DNA strand formation of the physical planetary structure. So the environment and the reality experience is underpinned by these dragon lines, these serpent lines, this DNA strand formation within the planet. Your planet holds the holy spiral, as do you. And she undergoes the cellular memory cascade, as do you. As the veils are lifted from her atmospheric structures, which would be akin to your memory system. So her atmospheric structures are having the veils lifted from them, just as we are having them lifted from our memory system. You may know this as gravitational memory. Well, no, I don't know this is gravitational memory. I've never heard of that. They've never said that to me before. But that's what they are saying. So it's to do with gravity here. And this shall become more and more profound as you go forward in your linear experience. You shall be ever more connected to these gravitational earth waves. And thus your experience will become less linear and more cyclical, as in quantum and simultaneous. The holy spiral of time will show itself to you, and you shall see it, and you shall live it. The environment upon your planet provides a nurturing space for the guardians upon it. For your planet Earth is the great mother, matter. And if you heard the talk yesterday by Laura Eisenhower, she touched upon the importance of the great mother as matter within her talk. And thus will not move forward until enough of her children are ready to make the journey alongside her, if you will. So the planetary ascension process is waiting for the humanity. Enough of her children are ready. So that's a critical mass number. The planet will not go through the full experience until enough humans on this planet are activating that torus, that quantum memory, that quantum DNA. We speak in metaphor here, but there is an intertwining and an alchemy that takes place betwixt the collective guardian group and the planetary body they exist upon. So there is this alchemy and an intertwining between the awakened group and the planetary body. One does not trigger the other's growth in a linear sense. It is a simultaneous movement, a oneness, a synergistic flow. When the collective reach a tipping point or critical mass, as in there are enough of the Great Mother's children ready to take the journey with her, then indeed the physical matter environment and geology of the planetary structure itself begins to transform alongside the individuals or group. You approach this time-space in a linear sense, but we are approaching this moment. In a quantum sense, you have not only reached this moment already, but you have catalyzed this, and thus, so too, you are this. So, linearly, we are approaching this moment. Outside of linear, we are already there, we created it, we are it. You ask us what this will look like. The experience within the higher configurations are that of love, bliss, joy, wonder, and a continuous need to learn all, experience all, know all. For you mirror creational source patterning at this point, which seeks to know itself through experiencing all and everything. So you are mirroring source, mirroring God. Everything that you are doing is mirroring the ultimate creator, creation itself. This is the cellular memory cascade. It is the call to know oneself and to move within oneself to access that knowing. For the environment is the internal oneself expressed within the outward oneself. So all is you, all is self. Once this is known, all folds in upon itself and becomes unified. So too does your DNA mirror this patterning as it cascades, and each section within the cascade folds in upon itself and begins its own cascade. The holographic fractality of this holy spiral is thus expressed within you, and all that is you, and you shall feel this, know this, live this, and you shall ride this flow. This is your path to individualization and thus true unification. So lots of activation there. I asked them, and I had to ask this question. Is this process open to infiltration? And if so, how can we prevent that? Indeed, this process, someone said yes. I heard her say yes, it's a yes. Indeed, this process is open to infiltration by presenting the fake, false reality experience. Presenting a picture of reality as chaos, for which you are simply a passive bystander, or worse, a victim within. This presents reality as harsh, unforgiving, controlling, violent, and dangerous. This is the false reality, but it is the reality the collective social memory complex chooses to experience in order to fully know separation and that which is false, so they may then move into the glorified expression of unity and truth. So as a social memory complex, we choose to experience the separation in order to know unity. We choose to experience that which is false in order to know that which is true, and that triggers that beautiful torus within. As with the DNA structure reduction itself, so this is the movement from the 12 strand into the 144,000 strand back down into the double helix, which again Laura was touching on yesterday. Well, spoke about quite a lot actually, not just touching on. As with the DNA structure reduction itself, the experience of the false reality presentation as a structure is both a choice and an infiltration simultaneously. When you recognize this as choice, then there is no infiltration. Yet you recognize infiltration in order that you may catalyze and activate others into the same recognition, which is freedom from the trapping systems, let us say. So we can choose in the moment. We must recognize infiltration. We don't want to ignore that. We want to acknowledge it. We want to make a stand. We want to be strong. We want to say we have boundaries. We do not want this infiltration. But if we understand and know that we made the choice, then the infiltration does not exist. And we take that dualistic, quantum, multidimensional thought process within our consciousness. When there is no outside infiltration upon a planetary system or within a realm, then the outside reality will match the DNA upgrade configuration, and the cellular memory cascade process shall take place in balance. So if there's no outside infiltration upon that planet, outside reality is matching the DNA upgrade. So all you see is love and bliss and harmony and compassion and unification and all those beautiful things. The individual or group respond to the catalysts within the environment. The individual responds to that. These catalysts in a balanced society are of breathtaking beauty, whilst at the same time being crystalline generators and activators of light as the structures. And when they spoke to me about these crystalline generators, and they've spoken about these before, I see these giant crystals. Now, obviously, we don't see these giant crystals everywhere in our reality. They're not in every shop we walk into. They're not always in our homes. They're not down the street. Here in Glastonbury, it's different. You can see crystals everywhere. Walk down the high street and you've got your crystalline environment activating and catalysing you. But that doesn't happen across the entire planet at this moment in that way. Whether the planetary system holds infiltration from those who incarnate on the other side of the bifurcation, shall we say, as the negative polarity, then it is not so easy to notice the cellular memory cascade catalysts, especially if you are in the early stages of the DNA upgrade or transformation process. So newly awakened, you don't necessarily spot these catalysts because you are still seeing the false reality. You therefore create your inner environment at conscious level and can indeed provide catalysts for the inner environment for others. Thus, the catalysts to the cellular memory cascade process are abundant, and you therefore move through the process in balance. So you can move through the process in balance, even on a planetary system that has infiltration, because you create your inner environment at conscious level. You hold the crystalline structures within. And that's when I saw these mini little crystal generators within the cellular structure of every awakened human, lying dormant in those with the double helix, but ready to activate. They thus generate and activate light, and are just as powerful as physical structures in front of you. So you can stand in front of a huge, giant, beautiful crystal and allow that to activate you, and you can access healing and bring forward memory, and yet you have these tiny microscopic, even more tiny than microscopic, little crystalline generators, and they are just as powerful as physical structures in front of you. How are they just as powerful? And this is what the mind said to this. Because the fluid within your physical system, that you may know as water, holds memory through crystalline encoded filaments that are just as operational as the physical crystalline structures within a balanced environment. So this water within our system holds memory through these crystalline encoded filaments, just as operational as physical crystalline structures within a balanced environment. So when you activate the memory within that water, and you are able to go through the cellular memory cascade process, which is Ascension in balance, just as if you were living on a planetary system covered in crystals everywhere, where everyone is feeling love and joy and unity, and there is no infiltration. You can have that here, right now, with that infiltration, because it's already within you. The key, therefore, to the inner reality, inner environment, and the crystalline generator, activator structures, is your imagination. Your imagination and your powers of visualization. Do not underestimate this magic that you hold. Each and every one of you gathered here today within this sacred circle, do not underestimate your abilities, for you are the grand wizard of which we speak. This is that which we refer to as the construction of your crystal palace within, which is your personal divine architecture of the holy spiral, seed of the Christed self within. You create your own inner worlds and domains, and thus your own crystalline generators, which are actual, physical, crystalline particulates within the waters within your bodies. They hold all your memories in quantum streams, and they cascade and coalesce within the ancient creational templates as that which you may know as quantum God particle formation. As you do this, true memories are catalyzed, and together as a collective, you remember these worlds and realms, and you remember these powerful crystals. You heal humanity's amnesia at a collective level. You lift the dream spell, and you bring all into clarity. When this occurs, all is seen, all is known, all is remembered and restructured into the divine architectural template within your bodies, the planet Earth, and at galactic level. This is your cellular memory cascade and your divine mission. We are the white-winged collective consciousness on 9. Do we have any more time, Neil?
12 minutes.
12 minutes, okay. Okay, why are Atlantis and Lemuria known as twin dragon worlds? So that was one of the extra questions I asked them. And they replied, multiple reasons. Many are outside the scope of this transmission. Okay, great. I'm not going to know. But one reason is due to the fact that the majestic creatures you know as dragons existed within both epochs in different forms. So dragons existed in Lemuria, and dragons existed in Atlantis. And I know that there is such a strong dragon energy this year with Portal to Ascension. I know Neil himself has spoken to you about the dragons, so that's lovely. I asked, is this what the Hyperborean phase was? Were the souls, or us as a memory complex system, were we without body or perception of body? And they said in the earliest phase, yes, that's who we were. So we have those memories of being away from source as the unification and the oneness, having the beginning of individualization, but without a body, but we still would have been within a collective, within a group as a social memory complex, but we wouldn't quite be source. That's the first movement, or first distortion, if you will, away from source. We have those memories as well, and that was the Hyperborean phase. And then that came into the Lemurian, and then into Atlantis, and these are just names to describe different states of consciousness and different time periods that have occurred on this planet as we know this as a planet. We can call these by many different names, but these are the names that are most well known. Okay, how can the galactic structure have a spine? I wanted to know about this. Their response here is one of those responses that I do not understand. I don't know what they're talking about. I'm sorry I'm not able to analyse this. If there's anyone here or at home who has understanding of what's being said here, then please feel free to email me and let me know. And my email address is on my website, magentapixie.com. I'd love to know what they're talking about. But they said, it is as a base unit, as you may know in geometry, that runs through creation as a 0-point field point of reference. Okay, so I googled base units because I don't really know what a base unit is other than a piece of furniture. So, on Google, the dictionary, the Google reference for base unit is: a base unit of measurement is a unit of measurement adopted for base quantity. A base quantity is one of a conventionally chosen subset of physical quantities where no quantity in the subset can be expressed in terms of the others. So as you can see, that came from Google. Not sure, but I did ask them. I'll finish up, I think you've probably got to the 12 minutes. I asked them, is this an actual substance? Is this an actual physical structure? Or is it just like a measurement system? Is it for us as humanity to use, to be able to measure with? And they said, the complexity and structure of the question does not align with the response. So I didn't ask the question in the right way for the 9 to bring a response forward. So my question is lacking understanding. But they did go on to say, what we can say is that this is an antimatter structure. And with advanced systems, there will come a time that this can be measured first as a theory, and then as an actual structure at quantum level. And they did show me last night these crystalline generators that are within us are crystal generators, but the ones on the planet, whether it's within the planetary dragon lines or within sacred stones or actual crystals, they are physical, so they are matter, the Great Mother. And the ones within our torus field, the little small crystalline generators within us that we activate with the cellular memory cascade process, are antimatter and the Great Father. So the two come together within that awakening process, physical and non-physical, matter and antimatter. But they do the same job because they are two halves of the same whole, if you will. So if we have any more time left, I'm happy to take a question or two, but that would be up to me. I think I know.
We did 2 questions.
Okay. Okay, just want to.
Say what that 0
Let's get the mic.
Sorry, what was the question?
Can you repeat that 0 whatever that was?
Repeat about.
0 energy.
Oh, right, yes. Yes, oh, absolutely. That's the one I didn't quite get myself. Okay. How can the galactic structure have a spine? It is as a base unit, as you may know in geometry, that runs through creation as a 0-point field point of reference. So they're saying that in geometry, a geometric base unit, which I don't know what that is, it runs through creation as a 0-point field point of reference. So the 0 point doesn't have a point of reference. The 0 point is pure creational oneness. But there is this base unit, as we may know it in geometry, that we can utilize as a point of reference. I'm not sure how helpful the Google explanation was when it comes to base units. Base units in geometry is what the 9 are talking about. So that's the galactic spine.
Any other questions? Can you turn this side, please? The microphone.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Can you just reread the part where you said that is our mission here, while here?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
There was a part in there you said this is our Ascension mission.
Yes.
Yeah, just reread that part for me, please. We have a lot of information, and thank you very much.
Well, I'm not sure where that bit is now, looking forward, but yes, this is our. Oh, you right, yes, right at the very end, of course. This is your cellular memory cascade and your divine mission. So your divine mission is to move into this situation where you have this torus field within, you have these activations, all is seen, all is known, all is remembered, and all is restructured into the divine architectural template, which is one way of describing this is the 12-strand DNA into the 144,000. It's a divine golden mean, it is the holy spiral, it is our creational geometry, and it's our divine mission to activate that at the point of ascension, because that's why we incarnated here at this time, for planetary end times, planetary completion, so we could go through this in the body, and that we don't have to go through the death process, in order to go through this wonderful resurgence and reclaiming of memories of all and everything. And so holding the God source within us It's a privilege given to those who have left the body if they retained that ability to retain their memories through death. Now it's a privilege that is being given to us while we are alive. That's why Ascension is so powerful.